Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Today I wanted to talk about something that I learned last week, and it's about slavery and how it wasn't originally just about racism and white versus black. So in 1627, Captain Henry Powell arrived to Barbados with English deportees, Irish prisoners, and other white indentured slaves, and a small number of African slaves, but it was not a considerable amount. The contract for these indentured servants lasted 4 to 7 years, and English actually had a long history in enslaving other English people. And the word slave actually comes from the word Slav, for the Slavic people that they used to enslave a lot, which is very interesting because in 1102, the Council of Westminster banned English slaves from being sold. So of course they had rights. They weren't slaves, they were servants that came to Barbados first. So the servants had rights, like being able to sue the planters for unpaid wages. But in the 1930s, planters decided to import African slaves because the white slaves were rebelling. They were also dying of the conditions, and they wanted to import people who had more experience in tropical conditions. So Africans, they said, were a good suit. They started to import them in small batches, and they would not be enslaved forever. They would have a timeline on their, slavery. So I think it was still at that point 4 to 7 years. But after that is where it gets very sad. So in 1636, Barbados had a law which was Negroes are to be enslaved for life unless stated otherwise in the contract, because Africans had no legal protection under English law. Of course, because they're not English, I guess. But in 1649, there was an uprising. White indentured servants came and connected forces with the African slaves and had a revolt. But unfortunately, the revolt was crushed, and there were lots of hangings and everything after it, but they literally joined together. So as a result of this, the planters created strict racial divisions to prevent the servants from ever, coming together, since obviously those were a lot of people. And so then that's where kind of racism and slavery came in. So then everyone after that point was separated on race instead of class, which was what was happening before. So essentially the racial hierarchy was invented so that the planters can make as much profit as they could possibly make. It wasn't about, we just hate black people. Let's come bring some African slaves. We hate Africans. Let's work them hard and everything just for no reason. There was actually a reason behind the racism in slavery, which is very interesting to know. And I honestly wish people would have taught this more. So that's what leads me to believe that racial division was a tool to secure their profits and wealth, which is why it's not good to be wicked, because of course all of this would be avoided if you just love people. The Bible says a greedy man stirs up strife, but the one who trusts in the Lord will be enriched. And I think that's obviously true. So yeah, that's my little story for the day, and I hope it taught you guys something, because it definitely did teach me. Also, I made my first post on the blog called Hope Nation, and if you want any prayer or you just have any comments, you can comment under here. And I pray that the blog blesses you.